My friends, hello and welcome to a special SpeedLore Bonus edition. The series where we usually take a look at one level in GoldenEye 007 and tell the stories of the speedrunners and their quests who set all these amazing records on the level through the lens of the world record progression. But tonight, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Tonight, we're doing a bonus episode in thanks to hitting a goal on our Patreon page, SpeedLore. And I thought, what would make for a good bonus episode? And I saw some other speedrunners doing videos where they react to a tool-assisted speedrun of their game. Watching the tool-assisted speedrun, the TAS, giving their thoughts. So I thought, why not do that? Let's watch a tool-assisted speedrun of GoldenEye and give commentary on what's going on and see what we can learn and what stories we can tell. This episode won't have run dedications or anything like that, since we're just going to watch the full game TAS one level after another. But fear not, because a main line episode will be coming soon within the next few days. So here we go. Now, the story of GoldenEye TAS's is kind of interesting. I mean, there's a little bit to it. There's only really been two fully produced GoldenEye TAS's ever done. This is one of them. This was the first one done in 2009 by a runner by the name of Rising Tempest. And he did it in 29 minutes, 58 seconds was the time you'll see on the tool-assisted speedrun times pages and whatnot. Although he didn't do Aztec or Egypt, he just played Dam to Cradle. And, for a first TAS, it's decent, it's interesting. He used some strategies and techniques that we never really knew of, or were TAS only, as you could say. But there were some levels where the times weren't all that impressive. Like on Streets, he only gets a 154. And so Surface 1, 148, and we're ahead of that now, 10 or more years into the future. So, Cradle's 34. Some of the stuff is very impressive, and some of it is less so, and that's kind of to be expected, given the age and era of the TAS. There's less people to work with, less people to help with ideas and strategies and so on. So this was the TAS in 2009. It was cool. It was cool to see for the first time ever. And a couple years later, in 2011, though, Weister and Scared Sim, two well-known GoldenEye players, Weister Henrik, he has Untieds on Train, for example, and Scared Sim has gotten world records, playing on console himself. They teamed up and did a tool-assisted speedrun. And they got a time in the 30 some odd minutes, which, again, that's a pretty decent time. And they did actually do Cradle in Egypt, and they made a good deal of improvements to the previous run. And so most of the runs you'll see, well, about half of them are from that run, the Weister and Scared Sim TAS. And they were working on it through 2010, 11, even I think 2009, they might have started working on it. And that's in the era where the 2.x control style wasn't all that known about. And so some of I think they started the TAS without it, and eventually they would go on and add it in later. And it ended up kind of being messy, and their runs towards the end of that run are much more optimized than the ones at the beginning. Understandably, they would go on to learn how to be better TASers as time went on. And then over the years since 2011, some of the levels we've seen improvements beyond what Henrik and Scared Sim did back in 2011. Especially Henrik began an even newer TAS in 2012, but he never completed it. He did Dam Facility. I think he got up to Silo or something like that, but he never was able to complete this newer TAS. Luckily, some of the levels like Frigate and Surface 2 are levels that people really enjoy TASing. So basically, the second half of what you'll see tonight is largely the TSs by Henrik and Scared Sim from 2011. The first half is a variety of improvements since. So without further ado, let's take a look at these beautiful TASs. The end result is 25 minutes and 1 second in-game time. This is taking all of the best known TSs on the single levels on 00 Agent from Dam to Egypt and stapling them, splicing them all together. And yeah, it's pretty wild. I had to, splice up some end screens and whatnot, because if you watch the TAS, like you were just seeing, usually they just skip right through the end screen. You don't actually get to see the final time. But I was able to make end screens and make it kind of a cool watchable thing. And you'll see on the side, I'll show who TAS'd each run and what the world record on console is now. So let's take a look. Let's get started. So here, of course, we'll start with the Dam level. And as a TAS is a tool-assisted speedrun using emulator and all that good stuff to get the fastest time possible. On Dam, we can see the console record's 155. Weister made this TAS of 146 in 2011, and it stands to this day. No one's TAS'd better. And of course, the beginning won't be that fascinating, but you'll see some interesting and different techniques momentarily. The headshots are, that's full strafe alarm. He's shooting here. This was a method to lure the guards in the basement to open the door in the basement, a slow opening door, which takes about 1.5 seconds. In 2017, we would discover a console way to do this, which helped Ace get 155. See, that alarm is not something you can do on console. But that was his way to get the door open on TAS, and we'll see that door open right about here. There's the doors wide open for him. And of course, it's a TAS, so he's only ever going to get forward boosts, which is going to be cool. And he'll probably have a perfect 7-0 or 8-0 and some alarms which really aren't feasible by modern convention, on console at least. On our way to our 146 here. So let's see, open the door. Yep. Yeah, that, imagine you could do that for real. It'd be pretty epic. I'd be pretty happy with that alarm. Here's an interesting point. He back strafes off the dam while shooting at that alarm, which is pretty interesting. I've played a little bit lately, and I made a comparison video of the back strafe alarm compared with the shooting it and then turning and doing left strafe off the dam, and the back strafe does seem faster by about 0.2, which isn't nothing, On a 2-minute level, it's a little bit less, but overall 0.2 in GoldenEye in this day and age is pretty decent. So I think in the future we'll start to see more and more people back strafe off the dam on Dam 00. And we never really saw that before, even though it was in the TAS. A lot of TAS stuff, you look at it, it's like, this is definitely not possible on console, like the alarms, but back strafing off the dam definitely is, and it's kind of surprising no one really did it earlier. I mean, Dam 00 might end up being one of those levels in the modern age that's really, really unoptimized. So, yeah, Ben Downing asks in chat, can you talk about playing at 60 FPS versus TAS emulators? Yeah, you know what? I've never used a emulator in GoldenEye. It's a little bit too technically demanding for me, we'll say. But I do know that there are guys playing at 60 frames per second, and they get times even faster than TAS, and they're actually playing. They're not doing like a frame-by-frame advance. I mean, TAS often will play out each parts as well with a controller, sometimes with programmed inputs, but there's a mix of ways they'll get the run going. But 60 frames per second is obviously a faster way to do it, and that 1964 emulator does that. As far as I know, the TASers do emulate the real game lag as close as they can, but like it's still not perfect. Obviously, it's not the same exact technology, but I might be wrong. You know, again, I'm not an expert on the emulators, unfortunately. It's not my forte, but knowing the ins and outs of the levels certainly is. So let's move on to facility here, and we're gonna see Weister get a 47-second time. Right there, the key, he gets it to like fly towards him to save like a couple frames. The record as of today is 51 seconds on Double Agent. 2 boosts there. He shoots to lure this opening. I mean, this run doesn't look that much faster, honestly, than like a modern 51. So that's where I always kind of question, like, okay, how is it faster unless it's saving time on leg and stuff? That's just for fun entering that room. But obviously every door warp, every movement is like perfectly optimized, which helps a lot and adds up over the course of a run. But yeah, this one doesn't really have that any like insane tool-assisted strategy. The biggest thing to point out is that first key shot. You know, like I said, I took each individual run and spliced them like side by side. So that's why we're gonna get the perspective switch. He did switch to cinema in that damn 00 first pause. So that leads me to believe he wanted to play in cinema for one reason or another. Yeah, there you can see the clearance B keycard. Usually guys would go all the way right to that guard to get it, but you can see the keycard starting to fly towards Bond there. So like that's a TAS optimization, probably saves half a second, maybe 0.3. So that one's pretty cool. Other than that, yeah, he messes around a bit. He gets like a double boost from the mine there, which is kind of cool. And like, you know, of course you're always going to get optimized boosts in TS's. I think they have what they know in the emulator, like they can look into the bits of the memory and they know what causes a good Trev or a good Doke. And so they can just like repeat the part of the game that will guarantee they get a good Trev or Doke or flight recorder or so on. So yeah. Okay, so check this out. What's interesting about the next level, Runway, is that ironically, when Weister was TASing in 2011-12, there were some elements of the game that weren't known about, such as R leaning and double R leaning. As a result, Grav's Runway 0028 is actually faster than any TAS of Runway 00. It's the current world record on Runway. He misses a boost there, but it's still 28, it's still a 4-second untied. And so this is the fastest run ever performed on Runway 00 in any form. So there's an R lean, there's a double R lean, and another double. Hits the, yeah, you can see the grenade going off. Pretty remarkable. And that's Runway 0028 for us. Definitely, if people chose to TAS this level, they would score 27 and like maybe even 26, right? They might even be able to get optimal guard boosts and get 26. The TASers seem to find magic time in various places. But no one's gone around to TAS this level yet, alas. Grav's 28 is the best known time, beating the TASs and all that. I just want to check. I think Rising Tempest's TAS was 35. He had 35 on the original TAS, and that would eventually be done in console as well. So, yeah, Runway's never been a TAS specialty level for some reason. Now, this one, I have a whole video about this. This is Surface 1. This is the M strat or the ook strat or the double OK or out of order keys strategy. It saves 10 plus seconds. The world record's 147 by Cali. You shoot twice at those two guards and stand in the doorway and lure them to that door. You shoot through this cabin out here to lure the large key guard. Then you go back around. You lure these guards to open that door, and you get the safe key before the large key, thus out of order keys. When Ted discovered a strategy, he thought it would immediately cut off time from the game. This was like summer 2018. To this day, 2 years later, no one has ever executed this on console. Henrik did execute it on TAS and got a time of 1:35, which is 12 seconds better than the console world record. The TAS without double OK, I think it's like 1:45, 1:44. I think that's what Henrik and Scared Sim got on their 2011 run. So it's like still better than the world record. I think they get like 12 or 13 boosts. They get all the boosts possible, like the grenade boost. Like obviously they do that as well. That isn't something you can do on console. So like a key point to keep in mind is that if this is 1:35, okay, and he did that crazy lock shot, like, you're not going to be able to do those lock shots on console. So that's like an extra 2 seconds for you right there. So now it's 1:37, right? And so it's like, okay, and even the lure is like perfect on this TAS. Like that first moment where you shoot these two guards. So assuming that like 1:37 would be a perfect run with this strat, I mean, you're gonna get deeper and deeper. You're gonna keep losing time. So I think if someone like dedicated years to learning this strategy, they might be able to muster up a 1:46, 1:45, but it would probably take even a really, really good run in that context. Because yeah, it's tough. And like even hitting this shot, you might have to go deeper in there. You probably wouldn't enter this door like the frame it opens. You probably wait here, then you hear it open and then go in. Probably lose a second or two that way. So yeah, the time loss on here would just keep adding up and up and up. Yeah. No, it's definitely possible on, like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone goes for this on console and ends up getting 1:47, 1:48 before they maybe finally dip in and get untied with it. So it's one of those techniques that's out there, but like, you know, who knows if I wouldn't be surprised if it never happens on, if an untied never happens on console with this strategy. But yeah, Ted's there saying that he thinks 1:43 was the TAS without this strategy. That sounds about right. So yeah, I mean, geez, 1:35 is pretty insane. Okay. Now we'll see Bunker. Oh, and yeah, you can see Weister TAS this in 2018 because that's when the strategy came out. He TAS this for Ted, revealing the strategy. Now we're on Bunker 100. This is a brand new TAS by Ted. 52 was the time that Henrik got on his second go-round as well, but this is the most modern version. It uses a 2.x control style to shoot that guard in the cutscene and get the door behind you open right here. That helps a bit. Those two doors are open. That shot alerted Boris. Boris's hands are up, and he immediately starts running to the room. This is a new Boris running strategy where if you injure him at the correct moments, he'll start running immediately. They should, in theory, be faster than the Boris running strategy used today by Clemens at 101. Beautiful screenshot of the you know, GoldenEye screen, the objective. And then he comes back here and gets timing. The ending is super, super clean too. Check this out. Nice boost, warp, boost, insane. Like the warp of the door is ridiculous. So yeah, this is a 9-second improvement over the current world record, which is a pretty significant deal. And I mean, definitely I guess they call it early Boris running. So for one bit, like, the shot to alert Boris at first is really early, like, like, it's like, that shot alerts Boris, okay? Right, that's pretty crazy. But then, yeah, it's like, the second shot on him gets him to start running immediately. And I do think that could be doable on console. The second shot on Boris to get him to start running early. So it's like, once he's about to start walking, then you shoot and he recovers, then he starts running. So I think that 1 minute, or maybe even 59, could happen on console with this technique. Obviously, Clem has 101, Ace and I have 102, and like everyone else has 103 or lower. So there's not that many people deep into the level to like give it a go. But that could easily change, you know, so... And then what's even crazier is that, like, that shooting lures the second door here open, so that Boris can keep running on in to save, like, another fraction of a second. So, yeah, that runs wild. Absolutely wild. The warp is beautiful, too, so... That boost is something I always want to try on console. You need a lot to go really, really well to be able to pull it off. You have to have enough health for one, and then not have guards troll you. But yeah, crazy stuff, that 52 on Bunker 100. Okay, next we're on to Silo. Silo, believe it or not, is the level which is the most ahead of its console counterpart. It's 18 seconds, I believe. I think Aztec is close, but it's 18 seconds ahead. We're going to see a Silo 103. It's inexplicable and mind-blowing. On the first ever TAS, Rising Tempest had a 114, which is already, like, insanely good compared to everyone else, like the console. Henrik and Scared Sim got like a 108, and then eventually Henrik got it down to a 103 on his like second attempt of TASing. So let's watch that 103. It's like absolute madness. I have talked before about the one pause, many plastiques strat, and we will see use of that strategy here. So you can see he's keeping the plastiques out, gets a boost, and like obviously he's not going to get stuck on anyone, which helps a lot. So he does it to skip one pause, which is a big deal. Warps is going to pause here. Does he do it again? I think he might do it again here. No, he doesn't. Okay, so he skips one pause by keeping the plastiques out. And then just like every warp is perfect. He doesn't get stuck on any of the guards. Like, there's really not that much to say, given how insane it is. Opening that door before pausing is kind of a newer technique. I mean, obviously he did in 2012, but only recently people started doing that on console as well. Yeah, there's almost nothing to, like, point out here other than, like, pure insanity. So, like, that's Silo 00. Oh yeah, if you watch that cutscene, scientists can pass away in the cutscene, and you can fail the mission. I actually did that. I watched the cutscene on my 121, but luckily I didn't fail. Thank the lords. But yeah, 103. 18 seconds ahead of the world record. Just nuts. Yeah, not really much to point out there because it's just so chaotic. Okay, we're gonna see a 53-second time. Now, Ted is in chat. I do want to know why he didn't do the 2.3 hostage. He's using like 2.4 or 2.3 on this run to shoot in the cutscene. I don't know why he doesn't do it to free the bridge hostage in the cutscene. He just did this on real console for Frigate Agent 22. So I'm kind of wondering why he doesn't do that on, let's see. So he goes in here. He's gonna release this guy. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, he hits a grenade, which is really clever, obviously. Okay, so you're luring the grenade. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, the grenade to rescue, but then you save all all 6 hostages. Was that necessary? I remember actually Spider Waffle suggested to get a grenade on Frigate, and we all laughed at him back in like 2007, 2008, maybe a little bit later. But it turns out Spider Waffle knew best, and it worked out. Like getting a grenade was a good idea. Insane bug throw. Wow. The Green Ocean is pretty epic. And so this cuts off 11 seconds off the world record, the console record. Wow. Let's just check this out again. The last hostage is the engine room. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. No, but it's like in this run you will have released all 6. Is that right? So 1's released now. Okay. There is a technique to do like a double warp through the pipes, the reverse pipe warp. But it's like you can access the basement faster, but obviously the grenade kind of makes up for it, I would say. Like right now you've released 4 hostages. You warp. 5, 6. So you released all 6, which like doesn't seem necessary, but I guess the reason for it is that they weren't going to escape faster than 53 seconds anyways. So you had time to I see. Yeah. I was hoping that the grenade would explode in the fade out and whatnot, but anyways, yeah, wild TAS. Yeah, I see, I get it. Now this one is brand new, for sure. I didn't change the year, unfortunately. This one's done in 2020, not 2019, but it still holds true. This one is really, really, really... I actually just watched this the other day. It's brand new. It's pretty epic. I was very impressed with this technique. And I gotta think lower is possible with like 3 grenades maybe, but anyways, let's take a look here. So he gets 2 grenades. Shoots the camera. Here we go. Shoots the camera. Okay, check this out. Throws 1 grenade for a camera here. Crouches. You could never shoot that quickly under those circumstances on a console. Never. He chucks the grenade to shoot what we would usually shoot out that camera that objective A completed first. So that's really, really cool. I really thought that was clever. And I gotta think this is doable on console. I feel like this strategy is doable on console. I really do. 108. Yeah, I mean, I really think that that throw is, like, is doable. And then, I mean, I think Ace said he was failing 118, 117. So, like, that throw, I don't know if you can even see it there for a frame or two. There's a cabin is over there. You can't quite see it. But that first cabin is over there. Yeah, I think it's doable on console, and, like, very, very... I think it'll happen. It's a really clever idea. And you don't even need to use the second grenade on this camera. You could shoot out, like, at that point, we usually, for the past 20 years, have used a grenade to complete objective B, which is destroy the communications link. But you can do it by, like, shooting through the window there, shooting through the wall, and, like, the walls get unloaded. You can take out the table this way. So, like, let's say you do that, then you go inside, shoot out the camera, then come back around and do this throw. I think you could still get, like, 118 that way with one grenade. I think so. But I'm sure people will play around with it and see. Pretty wild to get this 108 here. Now, coming up on Bunker, we're going to see a cell warp. So just keep... We'll go back and rewatch it later. I think we should just take in this Bunker run in its full glory first. It's pretty damn cooked. I believe this is a Scared Sim run. Yeah, this is OG. This was in the original, you know, Scared Sim and Weister TAS back in the day. Cell warp, slap, and it's just gonna plow through the stage. It's pretty absurd and ridiculous. Okay. It just, like, every shot lures a guard into a perfect position to get through the stage as fast as possible. Gets a boost while shooting the camera. That shot is, like, as early as possible. Insane warp. Insane. I mean, Ted could have maybe done a better warp there. Right? That would have maybe... Ted could have maybe got 39. Which, yeah. Well, so the cell warp is very interesting, because what has to happen is you have to switch weapons in order to warp. So you have to do the pause and take out the watch magnet select. Watch magnet attract. But instead of using it to grab the key, you switch from watch magnet attract to unarmed and slip through the cell door. And that saves a little bit of time. I believe people have done it on console, like they have, but with no consistency whatsoever. And, like, if you could do it on console, it would help make Bunker 2 Agent 23 more doable. It would make it an easier time for a lot of players to get. But no one's been able to do it with any consistency yet. And since you can squeeze through without opening the door, this guard doesn't see you yet. On 00 and Secret Agent, he usually takes 2 slaps. But now he only takes 1. Because when guards don't see you, and you slap them from behind on 00, they only take 1 slap. So that helps as well. And then, yeah, it's like frame and pixel perfect, pretty much. It's, okay, so MW says Cell Warp doesn't save time on console. It's doable on console. It's fairly easy, but doesn't save time. I mean, I would wager that if I were to sit there and, like, try it on stream for a night, I would get it a few times. But, like, it might take you 5 minutes to get it once, you know? And then you could get good at it. Anyways, MW says doesn't save time on console, and he's a pretty knowledgeable guy on the tier of the TASers, so I believe it as well. And then, yeah, the rest of the run is just insane. Obviously, he uses these luring strategies. Like, that crouch shot is insane. He even lures the safety guard, so he doesn't have to enter that room very far. The clipboard guy is always a treat. Yeah, okay, so the cell warp, yeah, I shouldn't say frame perfect, but it is very precise. Obviously, the speed of which to hit it isn't that important because you could just sit there all night running into the cell hoping to hit it, and you probably will. But it's pixel-wise, there's not too much room. Yeah, just doesn't save enough time on console, so that's life. Okay, now we're on Statue. Statue just saw Untied by Cali W. 217. Historic run. This TAS is 215. What is insane about Cali's 217 is that it shows 216s possible. It's kind of one of those, like, I don't want to say like paradox isn't the right word for it, but we knew 217 was possible for ages, okay? People get 218 with 2 boosts. Okay, we know 5 boosts is possible, therefore 217 is possible. Cowley eventually got 217 with 2 boosts, therefore we know 216 is possible with 5 boosts. Anyways, this TAS 215 will have 5 boosts as well, so let's watch it. Nice shot, okay. So there's 1 boost. There's 2 boosts. He might actually get 6 boosts. There's 3. So the KF, he did warp a stone there. So that path is slightly more optimal, and it's hard to pull off in full speed without losing time on console. And then his Val Strafe is very weird. I don't know if anyone's ever tried actually doing this. Wow, dude, the biggest mystery with Cowley is how does he play? How does he have so much time to play? That's what, like, we all want to know. Like, obviously he's the most skilled player active, but all that combined with playing insane hours helps get insane times. I'm surprised that sort of R-leaning strafe never took off. It's really interesting technique for the Val Strafe. No one ever really tried on console. He gets a grenade. So the shotguns do 2 bars of damage. The KF7s do 1. So ideally you get 3 KF7s, 2 shotguns, you have 1 bar of health left. So there's, yep, 2 shotguns, 1 bar of health left. That's 5 boosts. 5 boosts. He has a grenade, so he'll get 1 more. He'll get a 6th boost. Even so, it's not enough for 215 on console with 6 boosts. I guess Cowley's now saying 4-0 could get 216. So maybe the part where he warps the block and takes a slightly more optimal route does the trick. Maybe that's the way this could get 215. So of course, boosting now wouldn't help because the flight recorder is going to blow, you know, at 0 seconds. There it is. He's going to prime the nade. He's going to give himself a boost right here. There we go, boost. I believe Callie said he was going to start streaming. Is that right? $215 by Scared Sim. Insane. So yeah, the one little block warp is like up here. Okay, let's see, just to back a bit. Yeah, getting 3 boosts on 00 happens, but 3 on Agent is insane. And I guess Callie had that recently. Yeah, right here. Warping that block. So that we don't do that on console. And I guess that's like maybe 0.1, 0.2 more optimal. It's too hard to squeeze through and not lose full speed. Yeah, I don't know if 215... I mean, maybe 215... I mean, but, like, incredibly, no one thought 216 was really doable until 217 happened. So that is kind of the paradox of it. And yes, at the end, he does joke pass away Natalia, as is tradition. I mean, I don't know if I agree with it fully, but it's... Now, usually you want to see Objective E before D. If the flight recorder lands and you're in a position where you'd pick it up, you'll get Objective E appear before Objective D. I am curious why that doesn't happen on this run. If, like, there's an even most optimal position where that doesn't happen, D comes up first, so I'm curious as to why that is. But not a huge deal. Wow. Okay, now we're gonna get a archives run. It's gonna be, I mean, the TASs have already been insane, but now they're just gonna continue being more and more insane. And most of these are going to be from that original Henrik Scared Sim TAS. You know, the Frigate and Surface 2 stuff was recent. This stuff is all going to be from that TAS released in 2011 by Scared Sim and Henrik. So a shot there is going to lure a guard to open a door. This boost you can never pull off on console, never. But it's a good boost. No ghost doors. And he's going to use a grenade to injure the box, so that way he can boost through it later. This inspired me to find a way to do similar and come up with the box boost strategy on console in late 2013, which was pretty epic to figure out a similar thing on console. Gets a boost, so he damaged the box enough that one shot would blow it up. And yeah, he gets a 51, which is pretty epic. Yeah, pretty cool. So I mean, that TAS, it's one of those instances where the TAS strategy isn't... I mean, it would be doable. I actually remember getting a grenade on a run and thinking, okay, how could I do the TAS strategy? And that's what motivated me to be like, okay, what happens if we experiment a little bit? And what we end up doing is shooting out the box in this room, which damages the box outside the room just enough where 3 bullets blow it up. So it's similarly as good. But yeah, he damages the box just enough to get 1 bullet. Can blow it up. You can also blow up the box completely, and I used that on one of my 54s, and a couple other people have done it, I believe, since as well. But yeah, 53's been done with 2.x control style, and 52 seems to be technically possible. So, well, of course, he eliminates Italia, as usual. And I think he's using 2.4 here. He starts slapping in the cutscene. Yeah. So at this point, they know that the 2.4 is the optimal way to be TASing stuff, and they're going to carry on like that. Okay. Yeah, 4 people have 53 on console. I actually forget who. It's like, I want to say Ace has it, but like I don't think he does, because you usually need 2.x. Riolo, Carl, Wotus, and Joris. Ace could probably get 53 without 2.x. I think he got runs that were like 54.00. But most people would want to use 2.x to get 53, which is hard in its own right. 43 people now have 54s. They're not a bad time, 54s, honestly. Okay, now Streets is like really, really insane. I don't even know like how to describe it. You're gonna see some wackiness on Streets. You're just gonna see boost mastery. Let's start counting the boosts on Streets. I remember when Scared Sim posted this in the forums, and I think this was like Yeah, this was just, it was just insane. Let's see. Okay, there's one boost. So he's gonna headshot most of the guards here, so that way he can strafe Val easily. Obviously, he's strafing Val with 2.x. Riolo's been able to do this on console, but very few other people have done it. Like, when you consider most people haven't even strafed Val ever, it's insane to imagine strafing with 2.x under these circumstances. And then he builds speed on Val. It is something I've looked at a lot, is like if you strafe Val far out of the building, there's nowhere good to build speed before you leave. You have to get stuck on Val and build speed on Val, which makes it difficult, but it's like the only way to do it. And then he's in left strafe, which is interesting. We never, as far as time has gone back, play this level left strafe. I think it's a lot leggier, all things considered. But he gets a grenade launcher, 3 nades in it, does these perfect bounce boosts. Okay, taking like no damage. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Oh, he warped. Did you see that? He also warps. He's like strafing right alongside the wall and warps through a barrier there. That might save like a 10th. And so it's never worth going for on console. But obviously in TAS you will go for it. He has a grenade. He's going to use the grenade. Oh, he uses it here actually. Blows this stuff up. Blows up the barrier so he can strafe through and take a tighter line. Yeah, that's pretty nice. No back boosts, of course. It's a TAS. Only 4 boosts. Only, I mean, man, if... Oh... It's like the run of your dreams to get a streets run like that, man. 150. Jeez, what a... I spliced that screen, by the way, to get an end screen, because it was only... Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to... They only leave the end screen for like 1 frame, or sometimes not even a frame. So, it's hard. Yeah, I see Irie in chat. This is indeed live. Welcome to the show, Irie. We're gonna see a Depot 42. Okay, so only in recent times have like we started boosting through the mainframes there on our way out. Of course, the TAS in 2011 boosts on the way in. One, perfect frame rocket shot, pretty disgusting. Again, doable on console, but it's never been done in a legit run. Perfect shot, perfect blueprints. Probably gets boosted into the train. Yeah, I mean, there's like nothing more to comment about that. It's just madness. I'll just watch it again for the sake of it. So he's in 2.4 control style. Might have been 2.3. Either way, a style you can shoot in the cutscene. Shoots out the screen. Obviously saves a bit of time, because you don't have to do that now. And then the door is wide open for you, which is always nice. Gets a boost in. That is key. I know Riolo, who has the world record 45, does go for that boost into the room. But I mean, like, that's a dream mainframe room. You couldn't draw it up any better, I would say. Like, he probably saves 2 seconds alone, just there. Oh, that's a good point, Narcissa. Great point. Yes, so it is known now that the Depot Warp, which was known about in TAS's at that point, saves nearly a second in TAS. We had Ted examine that for us in the Depot SpeedLore episode. So instead of, going through here the conventional way, you warp, you do the agent style warp and do the reverse up the stairs. So again, with modern knowledge, you would warp through that rolling door. Modern knowledge could probably get 41, and then who knows what else the guys would come up with, maybe 40. But I would say 41 is almost certainly possible in TAS now. And it does make you wonder if anyone will go for that on console. The roller door warp on Secret or Double Agent. I think certainly Secret Agent, it might be doable because you can get pretty consistent at the mainframe room. So, well, and that, it's a good point, Ben Downing, is that, like, the staircase would be so tricky. Like, are you, like, no one, it's uncharted territory, no one's practiced it, no one knows what to do, like, it's like, who knows what's going to happen, right? It's one of those things where you have to be like the pilot. I do think in the 2020s we will see someone pull off a run, maybe not world record, but PB, with the roller door warp on Secret or Double Agent, and that'll be pretty cool. So, but yeah, this is, of course, like I said, the second half of these TAS's depot is like the 12th level, 13th level. The rest are going to be from 2011, from the original Weister and Scared Sim TAS. So some of the most modern conventions are not going to be known about. So Train, of course, Henrik is the master, and so he's TASing his best level. There's really not much to say other than it's just going to be perfect. Train's a level where you will bleed a lot of time to lag on console, and so on TAS you can just, you know, work through it. That shot, that's like one of the biggest keys, is that shot, headshots, Ormov gets the countdown timer started as quickly as possible. And so that saves all the time where you would run in usually and eliminate Ormov yourself. Of course, he does the weapon switch for swag effect, which is cool too. We'll just watch these parts again. There's a piece where if you have a dual wield, and then as you have a dual wielding weapon, but you only have one of them out, switch the dual wield, switch beyond it, but interrupt it with a shot, you'll get a mixed weapon. This was known about, you know, since '99 on Game FAQs. They use it here mostly for swag effect, but it's pretty cool. And this shot, so if you were to watch Mark or Henrik play Train 00, they would probably run all the way in and shoot, and like you know, get rid of Ormov with a watch laser. Obviously, getting a headshot on him from here is much more fast. You're starting the countdown timer right now instead of running in. I mean, 1.5, anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds faster, so that's a good time save. And yeah, this is known about. I have this on the iceberg, we'll talk about it in that video. Bond has 3 hands because he has the watch laser, 1, 2, and he has a third hand holding a ZMG. So yeah, funny stuff. And then he just exits the train, and he has enough time to kind of screw around a little bit. We're gonna watch the countdown timer, and then he'll escape. In due time. That's a good switch. The Dostave. I'm sure our Russian friend Mr. Tikva might correct me on how to say Dostave. Yeah, it's a cool mix. And that's the kind of benefit with the TAS, is you have these times to do kind of swaggy stuff instead. Wow, interesting. Just taking out these guards. I think the earliest he can leave is like cracks the password. He'll obviously fade this out on the earliest frame possible. Yeah, okay. And here we go. 140. It's kind of impressive when you think about that it's only 8 seconds faster on such an insanely complex level. But then again, the level really is only like 40 seconds or so. Like, the timing of the level in a way ends the moment you shoot Ormov. So He's 8 seconds better on like a 40-second, 35-second level. Like you're racing to shoot Ormov, and now the end time is basically set in stone. You can't do anything to make up time here. You just have to wait for the countdown timer for Natalia to hack the objective. So that's why it's only 8 seconds faster. Pretty good stuff. Jungle? I don't know if I remember much about the Jungle TAS. We'll have to, like, it'll be insane. I think they might have done the mine throw up the ladder strategy, which would later become commonplace. Like, it's now used on console runs. So we'll see that. I believe so. Okay, let's check this out. Oh, I was not expecting boosts. I was definitely not expecting boosts in the TS. The world record is now 52 by Joris, which is unbelievable. Oh yeah, the TS is going to shoot out the drones with AR-33. That would be very impractical on console. Wow. I didn't expect all these mine boosts. You would just pass away, you would never survive. A full strafe Xenia on 00, she needs 9 headshots. So, like, you need aimbot TAS tracking to do that. Okay, so there wasn't the mine technique, but you avoid back boosts by blowing it with the RCP-90. So pretty nice stuff there. Beautiful warp. Yeah, that was obviously insane. Again, the fact Joris has only 3 seconds behind is pretty mind-blowing. I just want to see the Xenia again. Pretty ridiculous, I would say. Yeah, that's exactly it, Jay Smith. Okay, so, again, 9 headshots. 1, 2, 3. Like, Xenia's rolling and he's hitting all the headshots. Like, of course, if you were Xenia and you were presented with a kill cam like in a game of Overwatch, you would report Bond for hacking. Okay, like, that's all there is to that. Yeah, just ridiculous. But, like, that's where you can see, like, I hope any gamer can be like, okay, that's TAS only. You know, you're never going to get that headshot, 9 headshots on console. Yeah, reported. Yeah. You could make a good meme with the reported overlay after that elimination. Pretty nasty. So, amazing run. Now, Control's gonna be silly, especially the first rooms. But then again, Control's is similar to Train in that the time is basically set after you get back to Natalia. So the first room is just silly, like it's just tomfoolery. Okay, and obviously some swag shots around Natalia. So that ding, the ding of the door there, you on Agent, on a 356 Agent pace run, it goes off when Natalia is roughly rounding that corner. Okay? So on a world record pace Agent run, the ding would go off now. But it's double Agent, there's 3 additional drone guns to blow up, and it goes off now. So he's like 2 seconds ahead of Agent world record pace. So, I mean, of course, it's what you can expect. Is he gonna skip? Yeah, so we're gonna skip skip the mines. I talked about this in a video about crazy GoldenEye strategies. He's going to get injured on the same frame that the explosion happens, so his invincibility frames prevent him from taking too much damage. Again, this has been heavily studied on console. The best we can come up with is what Ace does on his 402, which is similar in some ways, but it gets the mines. And, yeah, I mean, this is just TS madness. The next 2 minutes, I'll finally kind of have a break from chatting so much. It's just going to be him kind of playing and screwing around here. Kind of messing around. He does some funny things. He needs to farm a whole bunch of grenades, though. That is a key. Like 6 grenades, but he'll obviously get to it. Which you could technically do on console, but, like, it doesn't save time. It makes that glass section so much more difficult, and just the ending more difficult. Now, I do wonder, though, if this was done in a more modern era. Dude, he even wastes a grenade, because he knows he can lure that many grenades. I think he shot that grenade mid-air, too. There is, like, the modern strategy has you shoot Natalia to back her up. Okay, this part's cool. I use this in the thumbnail. You know, oh, okay, he is going to start to back up Natalia here. Pound. I think it is Darius. I think it is. Yeah, so that guard thinks you're at that door. That's why he's not reacting to you. Pwned. Oh yeah, so funnily enough, that's actually, okay, what you just heard there is, like, interesting. The black heart, I feel like any Control episode I explain this, but the black-hatted guards go after you. The non-black-hatted guards go after Natalia. The non-hat-wearing guards, if they shoot Natalia, she's going to get injured and pass away. The black-hatted guards, since the game is programmed for them to go after you, any shots where they happen to hit Natalia don't register as hitting Natalia. She becomes a meat shield for you. So, like, those shots aren't damaging Natalia, which is really, really funny. Like, it makes no sense, but also makes, like, so much sense. Yeah, pwned is a bit dated. It is fun. I know a lot of OG gamers will pronounce it owned instead of pwned. I like saying pwned. It's a preference thing. An accent, a dialect, who knows. So, yeah, this backing of Natalia thing is interesting. Obviously, they did this in 2011. It wasn't really done on console much later. And it wasn't mastered for a long time. I guess now we have you shoot her very early to have even her angles even different. So that wasn't known about during the time of this TAS, but backing her up, that was a big, you know, if we didn't think to back her up, we never would have got to that point where we shoot her early to change her angle and shift her towards the stairs. And even so, that might make this 350, it might not. So yeah, when you consider that this beats the Agent TAS, pretty impressive. Or, you know, beats the Agent console world record, I should say. 351. I spliced this screen together, of course, because the TAS screen blasts past this 351 being displayed. It's not the greatest splice, but it's funny for the sake of the video. Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, when you play the game as a person, the 3 extra drone guns in the first room slow you down a lot. That's why, you know, Ace, the best part in the world, is still 7 seconds slower on 00 than he is on Agent. But the fact that the TAS beats the Agent world record, unbelievable. Okay, Caverns is going to be cool. I think he's going to stay above A from above is like a theoretical strategy that will never happen. So he gets... that scientist will pass away. That single shot lured both of those scientists away from their consoles. And not only that, but you also then have to throw a mine with the perfect timing and spacing and angle to blow up the two consoles. Yeah, so that's theoretically doable on console, practically not doable on console. Gets a box boost on 00, and mind you, this isn't the Japanese version, so he only has 8 bars of health to work with. Okay, that code card, go back and watch that code card pickup. Clemens was trying that a lot when going for 130. Okay, getting a mine boost into this room is just... it's like pure silliness. But like, really smart to think of doing that extra piece. You see how fast he's... that was 2 chained boosts? He's moving so fast there. Unbelievable. Yeah, just... wow. Okay, 119. New cheat available. I forget whose end screen I spliced. I think actually I took like a damn SA 119 and masked everything but the 119 area over top of Caverns 00. I think that's what I did. Yeah, anyways. It was fun to make this up, to make these end screens. So yeah, let's just rewatch a lot of the points of this run. Yeah, so this beats the world record by 10 seconds, but it beats the version record, the NTSC English record, by 16 seconds. Yeah, so that's actually a great question. And the conventional explanation, okay, that shot, you can see the floor is slightly unloaded, and so the bullet can pass through and hit a spot in between the two scientists that lures them both away. And then he shoots it, he gets that shot so early that he has enough time to switch weapons and then barely get that mine to go down and blow up those two consoles without killing either of those scientists. Like, it's just nuts. So the reason the ending looks so fast, Wheat Solo, is because of chained boosts. And I explain this, the best explanation I have ever given for this is in my Is Runway Agent 21 Possible video. But basically, you get a boost, you go faster, and then you decrease. If you get a boost and you're going faster, and then you get another boost, you go even faster before then decreasing. So instead of like getting 2 humps of boosts, you get 1 big hump of boost. And so, yeah, it's just, I mean, this is nuts. Yeah, Clem was going for this. Basically, you hope, you can see the key card, which gives a good example. You hope that the key card splashes into the corner of those 2 boxes, and that way you can pick it up from this side of the boxes. And that obviously saves time because you don't have to go around the other side of the boxes, right? It saves like a second. Clem was going for that when he went for 129.00. I've played around with it a little bit too. It works. It's just not consistent. And on a level where a lot is inconsistent, that's not a good formula. You want to be as consistent as possible. But like, it's a good, if you're a good player going for like 130, 131, try it out. This is just like nonsense. Obviously, most people would use the timed binds to get rid of all the chaos behind them. Because it's a TS, you don't have to do that. Getting a boost in here is like clever because it gives a little bit less time for everything to blow up and go south. But yeah. That's why it looks so fast there. No, I mean, Ben Danny, I haven't been following the emulator records much at all, so maybe I'll check it out after this stream. Okay, Cradle. Now again, keep in mind this was done in 2011. They get 32, which is insane. The record at the time was 36. So 32 back then was amazing, but they don't use the modern strategies, which involve, you know, killing Trev with the drone, flame, and a shot on the same frame, and then hoping he drops a grenade on the console. They're gonna get 2 grenades here. Let's see what they do. So 1 grenade there, gets a boost. Okay, I guess Trev... I mean, that was a pretty cool strategy. Trev sometimes gets, like, stuck in that room. You know? And I guess that's what happened. And so he was able to use a grenade to self-boost and kill Trev on the same frame. Like, Trev must still be in here running around. Yeah, there he is, right? I guess what maybe could have been known is that the grenade can blow up the console from that side. But yeah, I mean, how the record was pieced together at 33 on this level is really fascinating. And obviously, I guess you could use this technique to get 33. Yeah, maybe you could. Maybe this wouldn't be that hard. I shouldn't say that, you know, but 32, amazing. Oh yeah, then you have to back out and go play Aztec, which we'll see next. By the way, Sean is something. Thank you kindly. SpeedLore is my favorite content on YouTube. Thanks for brightening my day. Very kind, Sean. Glad you're here to check out the end of this insane tool-assisted speedrun of GoldenEye 007 on 00 Agent. We've got the last 2 levels here, Aztec and Egypt. Okay, so this is 17 seconds better than Luke's world record, which is still untied. This will just be nonsense, I'm sure. 2011, so the faster glass techniques are known about at this point. Clem found them in 2010. But, like, that's way faster than anyone's ever done. Keep in mind that Agent record is still only 123. Now, he didn't pause there. You'll find out why in a second. He is going into the big room with 0 health. How is this doable? No hits. That can happen. Crouches. Takes out the drone. So, dude, what did he get hit by there? To do half a bar of health. A drone? Oh, the explosion of that drone. And it probably gives him invincibility frames. Yeah. Yeah, so Luke's 135.00 world record is like a sleeper world record. It's becoming, I think, 2nd place, longest standing untied, 3rd place. It's becoming like a sleeper record that's like gonna be insane for anyone to beat. Yeah, he definitely didn't kill Jaws, but he distracted him enough to survive. Yeah, so what you saw there was he, instead of pausing earlier in the level when we normally would, he pauses there and completes this objective A on the last frame. Normally, we would do it when we get the glass open. We'd have paused by now, and then we would grab that. Like, you're right here, why not do it right now? But there are reasons to do it later. No one's ever pulled this out on console, especially with the new crouching strategy, which it's like not sure if the crouching strategy is faster or not, but if you could do this ending on it, it would actually be faster, because you wouldn't have to waste, like, that's a more, with the modern glass strats where you lure the guards to open the glass, there's enough time where you're waiting for them to come out to the glass that you can pause. So it's good to do that. But with the crouching strategy, you're kind of in the guards, and so pausing does lose time there. And so if you could do the crouching strategy plus the late A strategy, which you're seeing now, that would be a big help. That would probably save time. Yeah, because that one, and that's a big point too, is that even on Agent, you get hit a lot running back to complete late A. And you can't do it through the vents because the exhaust base closed. And it needs to be closed for the level to complete. So he just headshots Jaws just distract him. Like, normally you would get hit a ton here. And you have to go head down strafe. Yeah. So it's very hard to do. And it's hard to even make the timing. Obviously, it's a TS, he makes it with, like, 1 second to spare, but... Yeah. And so, the thing I found craziest about doing this whole TAS was that this is 17 seconds faster than the console record. Silo is 18. So as insane as this run is, Silo is still faster. Silo's still like a bigger discrepancy between TAS and console. Unbelievable. I do wonder, though, with the modern crouching strat, if you could beat 118 on this level with that. I think you probably could. And like there is even, it's like literally a 1 in a million strategy. You can stand at the glass and hope that guards like charge you in such a way that one guard will try to go around the other and open the glass without any fancy techniques or crouching or luring. They just open it. But it's like literally like a 1 in a million strategy, so that could maybe happen as well. But yeah, the big room strat is interesting, because let's say he did Objective A before, right? Let's say he did Objective A before, when you normally do, and then let's say you have no health on Aztec 00, and you insert the launch protocol. It's really precise, but you can crouch here and stay here for the next 30 seconds, and you won't die. So like, that is another considerable strategy to help survive on Aztec 00. And if you make it easier to survive, you could potentially skip the body armor. That is also out there. So like, Aztec 00 is just such a fascinating level to me because it's obviously the least maxed, and it will always be the least maxed because it's so hard to survive. So this crouching strategy, I don't think anyone's pulled it off on console. I think on DLTK they may have. I think on DLTK there's a technique where you do it. But like, no one's ever done it on an Aztec 00 run. Like, oh, it's YOLO, I have no health, I better go for the crouch. And that's where you spend the last 30 seconds in that spot. So yeah, that'd be pretty wild. And yeah, that's it. Now we're down to Egypt, and we're getting to the end of this this SpeedLore special, so what can I say? Egypt's, not the most thrilling. Clemens once described Egypt as he would rather peel potatoes, so, that says a lot about Egypt. This Aztec might have been the peak of the episode. But yeah, clearly Luke's 135 is both an amazing run, amazing world record, sleeper world record, but also very improvable, and we'll see if anyone does it over the next 5-10 years. So 44 is the record here by Hayden. Insane run, untied for a couple years now, but the TS is 42. Let's watch it. He's gonna probably warp here. Yeah, seamless warp. Carl was really one of the first guys to warp that like really well. But, this TS warp is even better. He's going to get a boost away from the second shot. Like, that is so hard to time. Timing that on console would just make me cry. I would not want to do that. And then an insane headshot. Blows that up for fun. Takes some damage for fun. Bingo bango. Now, if you were to use 2.4 and kill the Samdi here, it soft locks the game. Technically, to complete a TAS, it's like usually time to the last input, which brings up an interesting conversation. Like, would the last input be the moment when you shoot the Baron Samdi, or would it then be shooting him in the cutscene, because that's also an input? even though it's not in the in-game time area. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, Egypt creeped me out too when I was a kid. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see this. 42 seconds. There it is. There is the GoldenEye 00 Agent TAS. I mean, that's a good point too, Cal. Is pressing A to reveal the end screen input? I mean, usually things that are considered menus aren't like in the final. Well, maybe they are. I mean, it's just you're just getting into semantics there. Like every game has their different timing mechanisms. It's intuitive to say that the last moment in a GoldenEye speedrun would be the last shot on the Baron. But then there's still time before the level fades out, right? Yeah. And then there's the ending cutscene, and there's revealing the end screen. Huh. It does make it a bit silly. Like, when you do a agent run, and you beat Cradle, you get the credits after. And that's a really, like, final point. You get the credits. You know? But on Secret Agent, 00 Agent, 100% speedruns, you don't get the credits right after. So it's not as final. And it's like, you have to make a decision where the timing should end. So it is, I know, I those conversations are sometimes interesting, sometimes not, but maybe we're playing it wrong. Maybe all GoldenEye speedruns should just be to Cradle on Agent, Secret, or 00. Maybe Rising Tempest had it right the whole time when he just did a TAS from Dam to Cradle 00 and didn't do Aztec or Egypt. Maybe he had it right. Or maybe not, so wow. That's the TAS. Pretty cool stuff. I definitely had a good time with this episode. Was definitely interesting and cool to look at all these insane TASs. See obviously so much better than what you could do on console, which makes it interesting to look at. I mean, in one way, the novelty is interesting, but in another way, there are moments where the strategies have worked out on console or inspired console innovations, like the dam early opening luring the guards to open the basement door. That's a big one. We would eventually learn how to do that on console. The archives box boost is another one, and so who knows? Maybe by doing this episode, some people will take inspiration from the TAS, and maybe new strategies and new world records will come from being inspired by this. I hope so. And I mean, if I had to guess, I would guess Surface 200. I really like that TED mind throw for the camera. That was really interesting. So who knows? Time will tell. So there is the GoldenEye tool-assisted speedrun. I hope you enjoyed watching and learned about the history of tool-assisted speedruns in this game. Something that, I never really talked about too much at this point, but I'm glad to have jumped in there and given it some light today. So, yeah, really, really interesting stuff. A big thanks, as always, to our Patreon legends and champions for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Your continued support makes these episodes possible. I hope you enjoyed this one as a thanks for all your support lately. And, of course, that extends to all the viewers, all the chatters, all the lurkers. Thank you very much. Obviously, you guys can tell I really enjoy doing this, and you make it possible for me, so I don't take that for granted. We'll be back soon with another episode. I'm thinking even later this week. Frigate 00's next. That's going to be really, really amazing. So stay tuned. Until then, my friends, stay true and have a good night.